Ever feel like you're writing the same line of code over and over and over again? What if I told you there's a smarter way? In today's episode, we're learning about for loops, a simple but powerful tool that lets you repeat actions in Swift without all the copy paste or typing in all those commands. Whether you're collecting gems, climbing stairs, solving puzzles, loops will help you write less code and get more done. If you've ever thought there has to be a better way, this is that better way. Let's go ahead and jump into Swift Playgrounds and start looping. For loops, repeating yourself. Imagine we're helping someone plant seeds in a garden. They might say, for each of these 4 seeds, make a hole, place the seed, move 5 inches forward. To write a for loop, we use for and indicate the number of times the loop will run. We can see here the code for each seed in 1.4. These 3 dots represent a range. We would loop through this code 4 times. And we can see that the commands repeat within the curly braces, just like when we call upon functions. Our first playground is using loops. I'm just going to quickly change up my character. We've given Bite a chance, Blue a chance. Now let's meet Hopper, our green friend. I think he's based off of a grasshopper. I don't know. But let's see how Hopper handles repeating tasks like a pro. Alright, our goal is to use a for loop to repeat a sequence of commands. So before, to break down coding tasks, we've written functions to repeat patterns. Now we're going to call one function multiple times using a loop. With a loop, we can write our code once and enter the number of times to repeat it. So here we use the letter I to represent an index. Just like how in the example we were talking about seeds, we just use I to represent that index number. Let's take a look at our puzzle here. It looks like we have some teleporters, and each teleporter will go to its corresponding color, blue to blue, green to green, purple to purple, and yellow to yellow. And we have a repeated pattern here, just like when we're doing the puzzle with the functions where we had the rows, we're essentially going through each row and collecting the gem. So let's first figure out what pattern we need to replicate. We'll need to move forward again, collect the gem, and then move forward to go through the teleporter. So in our for loop here, let's go ahead and move forward twice, collect the gem, then move forward to step on the teleporter. We can then put our number in the placeholder in our for loop. Let's just do 1 for now, just to verify that it works. Let's go ahead and run our code. So move forward twice, Hopper collects the gem, goes through the teleporter, and we're back to where we started, just in a different row now. So if we were to complete this, without a loop, we would essentially take this code, we would copy and paste it. Let's see, we have 1 gem we've collected, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could paste, but that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Let's go ahead and create that loop and loop through the iteration 5 times to collect all 5 gems. So we're going to replace the number in our for loop with the number 5. This should allow us to repeat the code 5 times. All right, let's go ahead and experiment. And on the left side, you can watch the code happen in real time or watch Hopper on the right side of the screen here. We collected our first gem, go through the teleporter, and now you'll notice we start the loop over again. So we're on iteration number 2. Now we're on iteration number 3. Iteration number 4. And now iteration number 5. And there we go. The loops have simplified the repetition of the set commands. In this example, the loop was provided for us, but I imagine down the road we'll be creating our own loops. Let's go ahead and check out the next playground. Alrighty, so we can see here we want to now use a for loop to repeat a series of commands. In the puzzle, we must collect 4 gems, and they're located in the same relative position. Before we create our for loop, let's just kind of check out what our code does. Move forward, collect gem, move forward a few more times, and then we'll then turn right. Cool, and we can see with our pattern, this is something that we're going to need to repeat 4 times. We already collected 1 of the gems, but there was 4 in total. So you can either type or you can use the autofill option here. We're going to select the for keyword, and it's going to add the placeholder for us. So we have 4 total gems. So let's go ahead and create the number to be 4. And I'm going to select the code. If you're on the iPad, you can feel free to do the same thing. You're going to want to highlight all the code that has been given to us, and you're going to want to cut or copy the code, and you want to paste it within the curly braces of our for loop. Editing Noah here. As a tip, you can actually press and drag on this curly brace here, and you can encapsulate the remaining code as well. So instead of copying and pasting, highlighting all that code and dragging it in, you can simply just adjust where this curly brace is to make your life a whole lot easier. And we have this loop that's going to repeat 4 times. Let's go ahead and run our code and see what happens. And I'll do the step through so we can watch it repeat in real time. All right, we've grabbed our first gem, turning right, and now we're starting cycle 2. Forward, collect gem, amazing. Then going to turn right, move forward, collect gem. We are doing so great. We are so close. We got it. We have collected all of the gems. So now we know how to create our own for loops within our code. We can choose to move on to the next playground, but think about how we can use loops even more efficiently here. What if I told you we can put a loop within a loop? See how we're moving forward 3 times? Wouldn't it make our code cleaner if we just repeated the move forward command 3 times in a loop? Let's go ahead and try it out. Let's add a for loop under our collect gem, and let's set the number to be 3. I want to move forward 3 times. We can then replace the placeholder code with move forward. And let's remove the 3 that we have down here, but make sure we keep that turn right. So now we have a for loop nested within another for loop. Let's go ahead and step through the code and run our playground again to see how it works. So here we're going to move forward, collect the gem. We're still in cycle 1 of this for loop, but now we're going through this for loop, cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. We then hop out of that, turn right. Now we're in cycle 2 of this for loop. We go through, and then we're going to call through that for loop again. We're going to go through it 3 times. So you can even use for loops within other for loops to make your code even more efficient and cleaner. Pretty cool, right? And there we go, collected the very last gem. All right, in the next playground, to the edge and back, we're going to use a for loop to repeat a rotating pattern. So we must activate these switches here. So we can see that we actually have some switches on the corner already activated. So 4 out of 8. But the ones not on the corner, we can see we have 4 here, are currently not activated. So we're going to have to find that repeating pattern. So let's go ahead and figure out what that pattern is. So we need to activate this first toggle in front of us. So we should move forward 2 times. We'll then want to toggle the switch, and then we need to turn around. So we can do 2 turn lefts, because that should turn our character around. We'll then want to move forward 2 times, and that should put us back on this platform. Let's go ahead and run the code just to make sure it works the way we think it does. Toggle the switch, turn back around, and return home. Okay, great. After that, we'll need to access the next switch. So we should then turn left. And we should be able to repeat the pattern again. So let's take the code that we've written here and let's put it in a for loop. So before all of our commands, let's add a for from our option below. And we have to toggle 1, 2, 3, 4 switches. So let's put that number to be 4. And for our code, we can highlight what we've already created, you can cut, or you can select all the code and drag it into the for loop. Drop it on in there, and this should allow us to repeat the solution all 4 times. Let's go ahead and run this. I'll do the step through the code so we can watch it in both places. So here we're in iteration number 1. We already know this code works, we've tested it before. I'm going to turn around, move forward twice, and then turn left. All right, we're on iteration number 2. Look at Hopper go, absolute pro. Turning left. Okay, and then we should return to the platform, turn left again. Wonderful. So it looks like our repeated patterns are certainly working here. And one more iteration. And we'll toggle that switch. We completed everything within 1 for loop. Awesome job. We are definitely getting the hang of these loops. All right, next up is loop jumper. Now it doesn't really look to me like there's a pattern here, but apparently there is. So let's go ahead and see if we can figure out the first couple gems. And because we're dealing with loops, we can see if it works for all of them. So if we zoom in on Hopper here, we'll need to move forward, turn left, move forward twice, and collect a gem. So let's go ahead and input that real quick. Move forward, turn left, a couple more move forwards, and then a collect gem. Let's see where we're at from there. Okay, great. We can't move forward anymore because we'll end up in the water. So we would then need to turn right. We then have to move forward after that. And now we're at a crossroads. We can either go towards the purple portal or the green portal. I think we'll go towards the green portal. We'd want to turn left, then move forward twice, collect the gem, then we'll want to go to the portal. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to notice a pattern here. Take a look at this code here. So move forward, turn left, 2 move forwards, collect gem, turn right. And then let's take a look at our code again down here. It's the exact same. So I think we've found a pattern. I'm going to take this repeating code and I'm going to get rid of it because we know we can use for loops to repeat any of those patterns. I'm going to create the for loop by clicking on the for in our code editor. I'm going to drag this code on in. Good idea to remove the placeholder. It might create some unnecessary bugs. And let's go ahead and repeat this 5 times. I believe there's 5 gems because we've already collected one. Let's go ahead and run our code. And I'll do this step through so we can watch it in real time. Let's go. We got the first gem. Gonna then turn right and restart the cycle once again. Move forward, turn left, 2 move forwards. Now it could be the case of maybe there's 2 different patterns here, but you know, we are working with loops, so my expectation from this playground is there's going to be a solution just with 1 loop, but you can use as many loops as you want. So we're on iteration number 4, I believe. Collect gem number 4, turn right, move forward. I think we're all good to go. We'll go through that portal. And then we'll move forward to collect the gem and then turn right. But don't walk any further, Hopper. We don't want you to fall off. Okay, great job. So let's think about the coding skills we've learned so far. Commands, functions, and for loops. I don't know about you, but I'm already seeing how we can transform these commands into a function. Maybe in the next one, branching out, we'll be able to create our own function. What do you know? It wants us to create a function here. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can figure this out. Let's think about how we can use a function in order to get across the different rows. So if we look real quickly, assuming we're facing the correct direction, we have to move 7 times and then toggle a switch. Let's create a function here using our func keyword, and we'll call it travel row. Empty brackets, add our braces, and we'll hit return to create some space. And we need to move forward as we counted 7 times. Am I going to put 7 move forward commands there? Nope. I'm going to call upon a for loop in my function. We're going to want to repeat this 7 times. And instead of our code placeholder, we're going to move forward 7 times. Work smarter, not harder, using all the tools that we've learned so far. Let's also create another function. We have one to travel the row, but we're also going to create one to actually clear the stairway. We need to toggle a switch, we need to turn around, and then return home. Let's call this one function clear row, brackets, add our brace, and we'll first want to call upon our travel row function. So travel row, empty brackets. Remember, when we're calling functions, we don't use the func keyword. That's only for first establishing them. We'll then want to toggle the switch, do our toggle, and then we'll want to turn around, which we know is 2 turn lefts. We could do 2 turn rights, and we'll want to head on home. Let's go ahead and call upon our travel row one more time. From there, we should be facing towards the end of this waterfall, so we should want to turn our character right. Okay, pretty cool. So we figured out how to go across the row and come all the way back, and then turn our character right. To actually get to the row, we're going to need to move forward a couple times, turn right, and then we'll want to clear all 3 rows. So let's use a for loop for that. We have 3 rows we need to clear, and you'll see we'll need to move the same amount of spaces every single time. So we'll do 2 move forwards, We'll then want to turn right to face the rows, and then we'll call upon our clear row function. All right, let's go ahead and see if we're right. Step through the code and watch Hopper in action. Oh no, nothing's happening. If you can see where my mistake is, I accidentally put all of the code within the function to travel the row. Mistakes happen. I'm going to take this last brace down here. I'm going to select it. I'm going to cut it or delete it. And we're going to go to the end of our function here after the for loop brace. And we're going to go ahead and add that closing brace. When you're hovering over functions, you can actually see all that it holds. We want this function just to hold the travel row for loop in order to move forward, our clear row, and then our for loop is on its own. All right, hopefully with that bug squashed, we can watch Hopper complete the puzzle. And there we go. So we're going to call upon our clear row. You can see our arrow moves over here, goes up to the travel row, and it's going to move forward 7 times. We'll verify that this works and then we'll speed it up. Otherwise we'll be here for quite a long time. Okay, that's the end of our travel row. We're toggling a switch, turning left twice, and then we're going to go through our travel row 7 move forwards another time, which should put us right by the waterfall here. Then we're going to turn right, and we go through iteration number 3 of this for loop. I'm just going to speed things up because it does take a little while, especially with the step through the code, but we have confirmed that our pattern indeed works. And then we should be able to return. Awesome. So great job. You worked hard to get up until this point. Breaking those problems into those functions allows us to create really reusable and really readable code as well. As a note, if you are working on the Mac, you can double click on the left side of your brace and it'll actually show you everything that it encapsulates, but also in Swift Playgrounds, hovering over the function or even the loop will tell you where those braces start and end. So if you make a mistake like I did, and mistakes happen, you can actually track where those braces are. Especially when we're nesting loops inside of functions, etc. It might get a little bit messy, but always remember you can use these tools in order to find those bugs. We do have a couple more challenges to get through. This one is called Gem Farm. I'm trying to see we have some patterns here. So if we look at Hopper, to the left of Hopper, we have 2 switches that need to be toggled. And then to the right of Hopper, we have 2 gems that need to be collected. And this repeats 3 total times. Let's first figure out how we can do a row, and then we can put it all together with a loop. So we first want to turn left or right. Let's go ahead and turn right first. We then want to move forward, collect gem, move forward, collect gem. And then we'd want to turn our character around. So we can do 2 left turns there, which allow us to turn around. From there, we would need to move forward twice. This should put us back in Hopper's original position, but facing the toggles. We'd then want to move forward, toggle switch, move forward, toggle switch, turn around, then move forward twice. So this should allow us to clear the row. Let's go ahead and see. Move forward, collect gem, move forward, collect gem. I'm looking over here, I'm like, man, I would not want to type this out for all 3 rows. That's crazy. Okay, we've returned to the middle. I'm gonna go ahead and toggle the switches. Wonderful. Use our double turn left to turn around. Move forward, move forward. Okay, so from here, we would then need to turn Hopper left, have Hopper move forward. Then in theory, we should be able to loop around this 3 different times. So again, we have a ton of code here. Let's go ahead and wrap it into a for loop. We want to go through this 3 times. And for our code, we could take all this and move it into the for loop, but why don't we put it in a function so it's a lot easier? We'll go ahead and declare our function. So we'll call this one solve row. And we'll drag our code into the function. That is a lot of code. And now in our for loop, let's solve our row 3 times. All right, let's make sure that this works. Then once we've solved a couple rows, we'll speed it up a little bit, but I do like watching Hopper do the actions as well as the code on the left side so we can follow along pretty easily. So we're getting to the switches now. Toggle 1, 2, turn left, double move forward, turn left, move forward, and let's repeat Solve row 2 more times. Turn right. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to speed this up, but you also might be able to identify some patterns here. When we're turning around, so 2 turn lefts and 2 move forwards, we can see that this pattern's repeated a couple times here. So you might even want to create a function to turn around, or you can call it like move backwards, or maybe even return. You can break this down into 2 functions so it looks even cleaner, because this does look like quite a lot of code. Let's go ahead and create a function, and we'll call it turn around. We're going to want our 2 turn lefts and our 2 move forwards. Now let's go in our code. So this pattern happens here. I'm going to replace this with our turn around. And it happens again here after we've toggled the switches. Turn around. So I'm just going to run this code really quickly. We're just going to verify that it works. So you can break this down to as many functions as you need or you want. Experiment with these things, play around with them. There's often more than one solution to a lot of these puzzles as well. So experiment and try them out. Last up, we have the 4 stash sweep. It says don't be intimidated by this challenge. That's a lot of gems. That's a lot of teleporters. Let's see if we can figure this one out. So first things first, we definitely need to move forward. And it looks like we have these patterns. It's hard to see. We'll move our camera behind this rock. We have these patterns of 4 gems almost in a T shape. So let's go ahead and we'll collect the gem after we've moved forward. We'll then want to move forward again, collect the other gem. We'll then need to turn around. So let's do 2 left turns. Move forward again. Let's go ahead and turn right. Move forward, collect gem. We'll then want to turn around with 2 left turns. Move forward 2 times and collect that last gem. We'll run our code and see how this works. Collect the gem. We're going to turn around. Move forward, turn right. Collect that gem. Turn around again. You might want to make a turnaround function. We're turning around a lot on this one. And then we'll collect the gem. If we were to move forward one more time, we'd go through this teleporter. We'd end up over here, if you can see where my cursor is. And we'd need to move forward again. And it looks like our pattern does repeat. So let's go ahead and turn this one into a function. And we'll call it collect 4, because we do collect 4 gems here. Let's grab our code, move it on in here. And we have to remember, after we collect the gem, we have to move forward another time. So let's add that at the bottom of our function before we forget. And let's go ahead and loop through this 4 times. Maybe that'll be the solution. So for I in 4, we want to loop through our collect 4 times. Let's go ahead and run it. Oh, I left the left the placeholder. Would not run with the placeholder. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so we're starting off by moving forward, collecting the gem. We already know that this one works. That's in gem number 3. There's 16 gems to collect here. That's crazy. All right, so that was cycle 1. We're now starting cycle 2. So we're gonna go to the very top again, move forward, collect gem. This might work. I have a really good feeling about this one. Forward, turn right. Turning around. Again, we probably could have made a turnaround function, but you know, that's something we could always patch in later. All right, and we're going through cycle number 3, move forward, collect. I think we got it. I think we definitely have it here. Come on, Hopper, you could do this, buddy. But even if it doesn't work, we can always debug. All right, and now we're going to go through the blue portal. I'm going to do some cinematics here. Whoa! Look at that. I should be a director. And we'll zoom on in for our achievement here. Move forward. Select gem. Look at that. Although my head might be blocking it in the top right, but hopefully we can see everything here. Forward, forward, collect gem. The only thing is he's going to move forward, but at least Hopper doesn't fall off, but we might want to look to fix that. And that is the solution to the hardest problem yet. Thank goodness Hopper didn't actually move forward again in the end there. He would have fell off the cliff. Nice work. You just learned how to write code that repeats itself without all of the copy paste. In the next episode, we're going to start combining what you've learned with conditionals This is how our code can make decisions. So hit subscribe and let's keep building your coding superpowers. Dream big, code bigger, and we'll see you in the next one.